Now over here you've got all shapes. I just click select and I draw it. Done. Then I select the star and I draw. Now if you see, what are you doing is you're just clicking the mouse, left click, and then you're dragging it. But when you're performing this operation, it is based on, based on the shape what you have selected, it is drawing accordingly. Based on the shape what you have selected, it is drawing accordingly. So each shape is having its own logic. So internally what happens is you will have some method called draw method. Mm, Internally, each, if you are selecting a rectangle object, it will call the draw method of rectangle object. There, if you're selecting a triangle shape, it will call the shape method of the triangle class. Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay, fine. I'll just name this package as polymorphism. Shape. So what we have got is shape name, dimension 1, and then dimension 2. Constructor you can have, and the draw method. Logic to draw the shape. Class rectangle extends shape. You're overriding this method, public void draw. Okay, what is the reason to put the constructor as? Because this is not the default constructor. This is not the default constructor. This is constructor with arguments. So if you are writing the constructor with the arguments, then in the child classes you have to provide the code for the constructor. Default constructor will be inserted by the compiler if and only if you don't write the code for constructor at all. If you don't write the code for constructor at all, then the compiler will insert the default constructor. Over here in the parent class, you are writing the constructor that will take three arguments, that is string shape, integer dimension 1 and dimension 2. As we have already discussed, constructors they are not inherited. Constructors they are not inherited. The compiler will insert the default constructor if you don't write the code for constructor at all. So over here we don't require default constructor. We require constructor with three arguments. So that is the reason we are creating a constructor for the rectangle class with three arguments, name, dimension 1 and dimension 2. Is it clear? Okay, where dimension 1 is your length and dimension 2 is your breadth. So for integer I is equal to 1, I is less than or equal to dimension 1, and then I plus plus. For integer I is equal to 1, I is less than or equal to dimension 2, I plus plus. So because we have already took I, let us use j this time. And then go with system.out.println. Public static void main. Create an object for the rectangle class. So name is rectangle. Dimension 1, 3, dimension 2, 10. Let us see. You need to call the draw method. Clear with this. Now it is drawing rectangle. Now let me repeat the logic and do it one more time for the triangle class. I'll copy and paste this code. Class test. Public static void main. String arguments. T dot draw. Now this time it will draw triangle. Okay, let us give the name triangle. 5, 3. Clear with this? This is drawing the triangle. Clear on this? Okay, so if you see again, the logic is different. The logic is different. Okay. Can you just let me know the line number?
Oh no, can you just go to the very top of the beginning? Okay, right there. Okay, that's fine. If you could just scroll to the bottom where the triangle and rectangle methods are.
Is it clear?
Yes.
So this is what we call it as polymorphism. If you say the function signature is same but internally the logic will be different. For each shape we will have some different logic. Okay, sure. Okay. I'll send it to your email address. Now, this is fine. Shape S is equal to new shape. So if I call S dot draw, then what it should draw, what should be the what it should draw. Let's say I'm just passing some argument 2 and then 5. So when I'm calling the draw method, then which shape you expect it to draw? First is second. This case is okay, fine. It will draw a triangle. But for the second case, what do you expect? Which shape it should draw? Any guesses? In the first case, when we have written triangle T is equal to new triangle, we were pretty sure that it is going to draw triangle. And case of rectangle also, obviously, r dot draw, if you invoke, it is going to draw a rectangle. But now for this shape S is equal to new shape. Which shape, when if you call S dot draw, do you have any generalized shape that you wish should be drawn if you're not specific about the object you're selecting? Okay, circle. It depends. Okay, if you want, okay, it can just draw a circle also. But logically, it does not fit because you don't have any common shape. So if you are not sure, 2 comma 5, what does that do? Can you please clarify? Oh, this is some dimensions we are passing. First dimension 1 and dimension 2. In the shape class, this is 2D shapes we are trying to draw. It takes 3 parameters. One is name, second one is dimension, third one is second dimension. So your first argument is name, second argument is dimension 1, third argument is dimension 2. 2 is dimension 1 and 5 is dimension 2. Does this answer your question? Okay, fine, thank you. Now, over here if you see logic to draw shape, but actually we don't have any common logic to draw shape. So if you're not sure about the functionality, if you're not sure about the functionality of the class, then what you do is you mark this method as abstract because you're not sure about its logic because we don't have any common shape. Is it clear? If a class has got abstract method, then the class should also be declared as abstract. Clear with this? When you say it as abstract means you are sure that the functionality is there, but it cannot be defined. But it cannot be defined in the base class. This draw functionality will be the code for the draw functionality will be implemented by the child classes. When you say or when you feel that this is the behavior that will be common to all the shapes, In that case, you can specify the function, or you can write the signature of the function, and all the child classes should implement. Whichever child class is implementing this function, it should override the draw method. Is it clear? Abstract concept. Okay, fine. Now, over here what we have done is, I'm just changing this to abstract because I don't know, because I don't have any common logic for draw method. I cannot define the logic for draw method at this point of time because each class is having its own logic. When you're not specific about the functionality, when you're not specific about the functionality of the method, then you can mark it as abstract. Over here, we are not specific. We cannot specify the logic for draw at this point of time. If I cannot define the logic for draw method at this point of time, then I should mark this method as abstract. Is it clear now? Okay. If a class has got abstract method, then the class should also be marked as abstract. Why? We will discuss that. If a class has got abstract method, then that class should also be marked as abstract. Oh yeah. So this is the draw method that is overridden by both the classes. Now, the another example what you have is you've got cat void some x y the details and make noise meow meow, and then okay you've got same stuff make noise. Now these has got common features, and we are segregating them, or we are making it abstract. We are putting it in the base class void details and void make noise. But you cannot be specific that all the animals will make same type of noise. In that case, you cannot be specific. So what you do is you make you mark make noise method as abstract. That is, you cannot define the functionality for the make noise at this point of view, and it will be overridden by. Clear with this? We need to override it in the child classes. Any doubt in this? Is abstract concept clear when to go with abstract? If you have any doubts, you can ask. Otherwise, if you don't have any doubts, can we wind up the session for today? Tomorrow we'll be continuing with the interfaces. Okay. If you have any, okay, which one? Abstract classes? Okay, last code. Okay, fine. Over here you've got a class called shape. Now, all the 2D shapes, they have something in common, that is they will have the name and they will have two dimensions, dimension 1 and then dimension 2. In order to initialize, we are creating a constructor, we are writing the code for the constructor. And if you observe this, based on the shape what you are selecting, it should draw. It should draw that shape, the corresponding shape it should draw. So based on the shape whatever you're selecting, it should draw. But at this point of time, you're not sure, you're not particular, you cannot write the code for draw method because each shape has got its own logic to draw. Each shape has got its own logic to draw. But we know that you should be able to draw, but the logic for drawing the shape is different for each class. So the logic for drawing the shape programmatically is implemented by the child classes. So rectangle is a child class that extends shape and it will override the logic for your draw method. Over here the code for drawing the rectangle, and over here you have the code for drawing the triangle. So the bottom line is, if you have the code and you feel that this code is common in all the classes and you cannot provide the functionality of that code or on that method in the base class, then you mark that as abstract and functionality will be provided by the child classes that implements them. Is it clear? Does this answer your question? Okay, fine. So I'll be sending you again few exercises on polymorphism uh, to your mail address. Just try to complete that. And if in case if you're stuck anyway, just email me. I'll try to resolve the queries. So this will wind up the session for today. Tomorrow we'll start with the interfaces. Sure, bye bye. Good night. Yeah, sure. I'll just forward this project folder to you.